Righty. Anyway, it's 4 o'clock in the morning. There's Rocky. There he is. I don't know what you can see, but I'll just with the phone. I'll do that. Okay. Anyway, a few more stories have come to mind. I could write a friggin' book. I really could. But a few more stories have come to mind about my day-to-day involvements with women. So I'll tell you these. Now, the theme of all this, for the most part, seems to be that women are very suspicious of me. They think that I'm up to no good. Now, some of you may say, well, that's women's intuition. You probably are up to no good. And I disagree, but still, some may say that. The thing is, though, as I said in a video one time before, if women have this superpower of being able to know what you're about when they meet you, why do so many women go with so many abusive men? It doesn't add up, really. But anyway, I'll tell you this, you'd think they would know. If they know about me, you'd think they'd know about the others too, but yet they don't seem to, so. Anyway, the first story I'm going to tell is about when I first came here and the camp here. When I first came here to camp here, I had two cats with me. I had Rocky, who you all know, and I had a nice little girl cat, big actually. She was a big cat. She was even bigger than Rocky. She was black and white. She was white with big black spots, and she looked like a Holstein cow. And I called her Moo Ella. Moo Ella, like moo is in the noise a cow makes, Ella. Anyway, she was actually Rocky's sister. She was from the same litter as Rocky. Rocky was the only brown tabby in the bunch. The rest were all black and white. In fact, Rocky's father, Buddy, was a huge brown tabby. He was even bigger than Rocky, believe it or not. Anyway, Rocky got killed by a fisher, at least that's what we believe. There are fishers in this area, and specifically on this property there are fishers. And I heard her being killed at 11:30 the night she was killed. I heard it happening. She had wandered away from camp. At around 7 p.m. she had wandered away from camp, or 7:30, somewhere in there, and she hadn't come back. It started to pour rain. The rain had just stopped when I heard her being killed, so I think she was probably making her way back here and got cornered by a fisher. I spent most of the next day from 6 o'clock in the morning until 2 o'clock in the afternoon looking for her dead body. I knew she had died. There's no way she didn't die. And I did find it. I was beat my way through soaking wet thorn bushes and everything else. I was soaked to the skin and covered in scrapes and scratches and everything, and worn out because, as you can imagine, I hadn't slept very well the night before. My tent flooded in the rain because I was still in the tent, and then I heard my cat being killed, so there was that. Anyway, and then I spent the day, like I say, beating through hawthorn bushes and everything else, looking for my moo, who I did find. I never did find her head. She'd been decapitated. I never found her head. Anyway, I had a female friend. Anyway, I brought her back to bury her. I went back several times looking for the head. I never did find it. I had this female friend, and what did she do? She accused me of decapitating my cat. Publicly announced on Facebook that I had decapitated my cat, which I hadn't done, but she said I did. Huge leap of logic, to come up with something like that. I took a picture of Muella, and a friend of mine who belonged to a wildlife Facebook group posted it on there, and they unanimously agreed that it was a fisher that had done that. A fisher's a member of the weasel family, and apparently what they do is they'll take the head off the animal they kill, and then they drink the blood. So anyway, I was blamed for decapitating my cat. I had two OPP, Ontario Provincial Police officers, show up here the following day, along with a member of the mental health team. Because obviously, if I'm going around decapitating cats, I might be crazy. I mean, I would have to agree, I probably would be crazy had I done that. Now, I mean, look, I am a criminal. I've been honest about that. I am a criminal. I'm not a criminal that'll break into your house and rob you. And I'm not a sex criminal, despite rumors and accusations. I'm not now, nor have I ever been a sex criminal. The way in which I've been a criminal is I've carried weapons. I've been violent. I've done violent things. I never did violent things to anyone who wasn't doing violent things to me first. But yes, if you were a man and you came at me on the street looking to hurt me, I would have no hesitation, to stab you or bludgeon you or whatever. And so, yes, I am a criminal. But I'm not, and I still would do that under those circumstances, so I suppose I still am a criminal. Really, I'm not a reformed person in that respect. If you're a man and you're coming at me looking for violence, you will find it. But otherwise, I'll leave you alone because I don't want trouble, really, and I'm not violent in the sense that I love violence. I'm just violent in the sense that I recognize that violence is sometimes necessary, unfortunately. When you're dealing with a violent person, usually a violent answer is the only answer. But that's one thing that happened anyway. Was blamed for decapitating my cat. Again, by a woman. Complete illogical conclusion to come to, but anyway, there you go. I just told the police that I hadn't decapitated my cat and that I had no desire to deal with them, and I asked them if I was under arrest. They told me I wasn't under arrest that day, so I said, fair enough. Come back if or when I am under arrest. But I have nothing to say to you beyond that I deny the accusation. That's all I have to say to you. And so they left. Now, the next thing that happened, I never heard any more about it. I'm guessing that the case against me was closed. Of course, that person is no longer a friend of mine. The next thing that happened, this is actually prior to all that, quite a bit prior to all that. I had a female friend who was staying at a rooming house. She had a daughter. She was in the process of divorcing her husband, and she had rented her house out to somebody else that she owned before she got married and so on. So there was a process. She couldn't just move back into her house. And so she was staying at a boarding house with her daughter. This boarding house was run by a woman, an older woman. Anyway, I came around there to visit them once, and the daughter wanted to show me. Now, she was just a child. She was maybe 6 years old. She had built a fort upstairs in their room, and she wanted to show me the fort. She had taken chairs and furniture and blankets and things, you know what kids do, and basically made a fort, made it like a tent or whatever in the room. So she was really wanting to show me this thing. So she said, come upstairs, I want to show you the fort I made. So I go upstairs with her. I stood in the doorway of the room. I didn't go into the room. Now, the landlady there, the woman who ran the boarding house, she saw me go upstairs with the little girl. I go upstairs. I see this fort that she made. I say that you did a good job. That looks pretty good. I said, you did a good job. Stood in the doorway of the room and looked at it. And then I went back downstairs. I went back down the stairs with the little girl. I was up there for possibly a minute, maybe a minute and a half at the outside. Um, when we get to the bottom of the stairs, the landlady's standing there, and she's got one of those portable phones with the long antenna. Remember those things? They had a base station, and they run on a battery and stuff, and they didn't work very well. That's what she had. And in her hand, an ugly look on her face, she said, "I'm calling the police on you." I was kind of taken aback. I didn't know why she would do that, but I said, "Oh, really? Why? Why are you calling the police on me?" "Well," she said, "because you just raped that little girl." Well, now I said, "What? What do you mean what are you talking about?" "You just raped that little girl. I know you did it. You just raped that little girl. I'm going to call the police on you, and you're going to jail for a very long time." And she's in a rage now. Now I'm getting mad. And I said to her, I said, "Look, are you crazy? Like, are you effing insane? Because you must be." I said, "This can't be happening." And I told her, I said, "Look, if you were a man and you stood there making that kind of an accusation, I would knock you the F out." I think now I probably would hit her because I don't care anymore, but back then I wasn't like that. I wouldn't hit a woman back then. I might now, though. That's another reason I'm staying the heck away from situations with women, because I recognize that, I might be violent with a woman now.